The philosophy of tea in Iran is extensive. Tea connects Iranians to the spontaneous and is an invitation to listen to every detail of a story. Tea is honest and calls to attachments of love and life and is sacred for moments of discussing death and birth, bridging separation, joining back to oneness. There is tea for love, spirit, and God. Returning to the source, the tea ceremony is a reminder that spirit is always an ally. And the loveless moment is healed, the wound is filled in a safe haven by brewing tea. Cultivating the chai, the tea silence, is like entering into a world of love, sweetness, and tenderness, shared with travelers, visitors, family, friends, appropriate at all times of day or midnight. Tea expresses passion for life and is a consort in the creative connection with life. While drinking chai, I dream of unfathomable voices, of nomadic women, shepherd men, and the wild of the desert. In dreams, I see hummingbirds, gazelles, and elephants, and women on pilgrimage. The book Chai of Poetry is a collection from a private journey, never intended for publishing. However, the powerful symbols of Mother Earth and mythical characters repeated with their kind voices, and they are the ones I have honored in the poetry. There are 4 spiritual moments in life: dying, loving, birthing, and healing. I have surrendered my stories of death and loss, of loving and healing, in the 3 sections of poetry I call the path, the lovers, and the journey. Breaking the isolation of personal experiences into art forms liberates us and commits us to unity. We are all messengers of stories, which we can address and articulate when we are ready to relinquish them, yield them, deliver them. For me, this means a kind of surrender, abdicating that I had any control over life and acquiescing to the power of a great spirit caring for the universe for all eternity, God. I am free to let go of injustice, disease, pain, and engender compassion and empathy with enthusiasm. I have considered myself an ambassador to the outcast, more kin to the peasant, the nomad, the old cultural ways than to systems. I am sensitive to immigrant experiences, orphans and widows, in the principles of human justice. My mother was raised for 5 years in Masjid Suleiman, in the stronghold of the Bakhtiari tribe. As a foreigner in America, she married at 17 and had 6 children. While she adored America, she could not conceal her cultural stories, and she painted them. Her family life in the Zagros Mountains was the backdrop against which much of my early identity seemed to fit. In my personal diaries, I discovered an echo from the ancients, which was something more truthful, more divine than journalistic truths. A map was revealed in a process which I experienced while writing these poems and taking these pictures. I assembled the poems from many years on the path. Afterward, the poems forged themselves into stories of death, love, and prayer. Hope sifted through each piece. Prosperity delegated to each smile. Suddenly a form developed, and when I returned to the Zagros Mountains in 2000 to camp with the nomadic Bakhtiari on the summits of the Zagros Mountains, my philosophy was inspired by a notion of God's time. Change in spirituality deepens by looking at the stars. Stories are revealed on the plateaus. Language is developed and feelings through strings of beautiful images. My mother Parveen's paintings read the faces of the nomad, the relationships and the experiences to a living God. Her voice is like a vivid dream. It engages all our senses. Sometimes words are best expressed in color, and in a world of private, distant stories, we can dwell upon the strengths and the beauty of all cultures. The physics of poetry has its own reality. The gravity of poetry, the metaphors embraced, center our lives. At crucial times when we feel the strongest or the weakest, when fear or doubt have taken over us, we can overwhelmingly give ourselves to poetry and poetic memory. And then again, the joy returns to our life. Poetry is meant to see and to allow us to go on our path. As we dismantle our scaffolding and set a samovar for chai tea, we can observe what we may have long avoided and find opportunity. Our journey is our gift. In our world of thoughts, there is joy in seeing others who enchant, enthrall, and effortlessly engage us. I'll have another glass of amber chai, and I'll welcome the foreigner, the nomad, and the discovery of the stillness of tea. The welcome to the sublime, the private universe, and the desire for relationship is characterized in the wild steppes of Persia, in Iran, in the Zagros Mountains, in Chahar Mahal, Khuzestan, in Budujan. In the small villages, tea speaks to a range of emotions. the vulnerable, the triumphant, parade over the plateaus. Caravan, caravan, Mama June, mother dear, your hair is a garden of vines. Nature is stronger than I, but I am secure by your side. Women of the caravan, Lailee, Shireen, Pari, Parveen, Lailee, Lili, Mariam, Parvane, Afsane, Sharbanu, Gohar, sisters of the desert storms, in which you became vigorous woman. You tied your long ropes to life, and then tossed your heads in the red clay of the mountains. You witnessed the snow in the distant peaks, along with Bibi Turan, Helen, Farah, Kalkeshvar, and the women in the tree of life, Roshan, Firuze, Dina, Iran, Susan, Soraya, Shireen, Janet, Lailee, Mani, Davar, Shabnam, Nasim, Sahar, Zainab, Bahere, Atefe, Azede, daughters of Abul, Manije, Parisa, Paricher, Karina, Quinn, Samira, Alexandra, Soraya, Kipling. The ageless struggle for understanding past and present settles in our courage. We surrender to goodness day by day, Sob Becher, Shab Becher. We overcome secrets. We never despair. Faith is present. God is the principle in our lives. We let all bitterness and wrath, anger and clamor put away. We are trained to praise, to think, in our silences, in the garden. Bakhtiar hearts, forever strong. And we watch our children live and prosper. And we witness the memories of our lands hither and yon. And we are at peace. East and west, hands that never touch, lips that never meet, from different lands. A fate of some is firmly sealed by time and destiny. And why should the clock of time be turned back? Can we have Samarkand and the western sky? Love that dwells in our hearts but never sees a different right. A man with a sigh on his lips which stops before its flight. A woman who sees words begin to form of two lands, turns away from blinding light. Only can the hands of time, by God, be changed to a new destiny of mind, where love can live in our heart. But in the mind forever sweet, held by a geographic plight, remain a sweet jasmine bloom on the vine on every night. Lovers of old Persia, Shiraz, Esfahan, Burujan, beware! All you love is still here. It is a richer place than you've ever known. A song memorized by God, the meeting of two lights, east and west. Silence the young reels. Stellar sea with knowledge and memory, I ask patiently, tell me the story of men born in the waters on vessels, their birthright rare, surging memories, wistful care, knowledge of serpents, dragons, and such, share anew. When was that child born? Alive at sea, a toddler with a carefree start, became a captain in his heart when just a Newborn to and fro, rocked his birth just below. A lad distracted by the sea, its revelations, consternations, satanic storms of revelations. What divination do I owe another try? For I will be married to the sea. It was my love, my legacy. Battered and beaten, but no defeatin'. A sailor born at sea. Praise God for this day. Praise you, God of strength and possibility and visions. Praise God for giving us this wandering life.